Welcome to ESI. We're at the tail end of a 15-day resident training program for our Special Operations Protection course, which is specifically designed for operating in a protective mode in high-risk or non-permissive environments worldwide. The students are at the tail end here, like I mentioned, last 2 days of their course. The first portion of the course was done with immersive medical, intelligence, counterintelligence, surveillance, counter-surveillance, and the whole host of minimum State Department standards and requirements for PSD teams or security teams operating in foreign environments.
Or your buddy could be dead. 30 seconds. Getting rounds out on target quickly and as accurately as possible is primary. Check.
Copy that.
There's that.
Is there a good SOP for tire changing?
That's something you just need to come up internally. You know, what you do is practice it.
Yeah.
You know, make sure your gear is stored in the trunk area. It's secured. Like if you're in Suburban, you need to have it all strapped down in case the vehicle rolls over, because you don't want the stuff becoming loose and rolling over inside the vehicle. If you're coming in sedans, all your gear is out of the well of the vehicle and out internally inside the trunk, so you can quickly get it and put it into use. Different sedans have different jack points. Mercedes and BMWs have different lug wrenches and also adapters you got to do to take the lugs off the wheels. And the best thing to do for an SOP is to practice. Of course, you only change the tire, situation dictating. And if the AIC says it's good, because you have to stop, provide 360-degree security.
What I want to go over first before we get into any of that is where and how you position your weapon inside the vehicle, right? A lot of this is common sense, thought consciousness, right? If you're not going to muzzle yourself with your own firearm outside when you're actively engaged, why would you do it inside a vehicle, right? Where do you think there's more potential for doing damage to yourself?
Pointing down.
Getting in or getting out of a vehicle?
Getting out.
Well, I'm saying the whole thing, getting in and out of the vehicle is where you're going to be most at risk. If something goes wrong and you're sitting in the passenger side and your firearm's on your left-hand side, you have to drag it completely across your body to be able to engage out the side of the window, correct? Getting into the vehicle first, does that make sense?
Yes, sir.
With your weapon stacked beside you. You can keep it down on the ground, you can put it anywhere you need to. Keep in mind, what else you got on?
Seatbelt.
Seatbelt. So you don't want to have your weapon locked in place where you can't get to it. With your seatbelt on and your weapon on the outside, this may not be as comfortable if you're a left-handed shooter, like Wade, correct?
Yes, sir.
You might want to consider when you're placing people in the vehicle, especially if you're the AIC or the shift leader, if you've got a lefty like Wade, where's his best positioning?
On the left.
On the left side.
Side of the vehicle.
Right? If you're a right-handed shooter on the left side and you actively have to engage, guess where you're shooting out of? Left-hand side. You might have to switch shoulders. If it's not your strong side, oh well, pardon my language there. Deploying out of here, even with the vehicles open, you're still not muzzling yourself, right?
Yes, sir.
If you have the weapon over on this side, I mean, this is all right. It's sort of a compressed weapon. You can maybe bring it up and rack it across, but you're wasting a whole lot of time and you're causing a whole lot of safety issue. What you see in a lot of things, and I love to cut down Hollywood for this, is guys will come barreling across the corner, dragging their weapon across their legs to get out of a vehicle. Not exactly the safest thing in the world. Some drivers will absolutely insist that this weapon or this long gun stays right on the right-hand side inside the vehicle. That's fine. Your primary job is to do what? Drive. If somebody starts shooting at you, what are the odds that you're going to be the one engaging first?
Very good.
This is my opinion and my personal preference. I will keep this thing on the outside of the vehicle towards my leg for two reasons. One, it keeps it away from anything on the right-hand side of the console that I may need to grab, move, to manipulate that vehicle. Second reason, this is a pretty good chunk of metal, isn't it?
Yes, sir.
You saw yesterday how fast and how easily it is for bullets to rip through this door. This gives me just a little bit of extra added protection across my legs if a round comes through. If it comes through and strikes my weapon, so what? I'm still alive. I will take that risk and have this on the outside of my leg and deploy from the vehicle when I need to, rather than having it close to the console. That's my personal opinion on it. If you guys come across something that works far better for you, great. But just consider that there's also a safety application there. If you're a driver, your job is to drive. It's really hard to focus on that and stay doing that when everybody else is shooting, and that's what you want to do too. Remember your job. So is it any different then? Once you're in the vehicle, you get yourself set up, your weapon will sit pretty much right here. When the door closes, keeps everything in place. It's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to bounce around a lot. And depending on the size of the weapon, yeah, I've got an extra piece of metal in here that may stop a bullet or at least slow it down or deflect it.
So on this thing here, what we're going to go over is two guys. In a vehicle goes down. First thing we're going to talk about is contact right. I'm sorry, contact left. So in this scenario, what we're going to look at first, vehicle goes down. First thing you're going to call out over the radio is contact left, contact left. Now if this is a lead, lead down, lead down. If this is a limo, limo down, limo down. If it's another vehicle, whatever configuration, whatever call sign you have for the vehicle, you call that out. You have to let the other motorcade and other people within the team know that the vehicle is now down. Identify the threat. Right now our threat is going to be blue 2, all right? Blue 2. So as soon as the vehicle has come to a stop, tactical commander or the shift leader or the AIC has announced that the vehicle is down, the driver's going to pick up the immediate threat. In this scenario, this is an armored vehicle, all right? Because you cannot really shoot from the V from a thin skin, because we've seen by the penetration test yesterday that it won't work. Roger that?
Yes,
because
sir.
this door does not provide cover. It might provide you concealment, but not true concealment. So therefore, it's not considered cover. So on an armored vehicle, he's going to open the door. Go ahead. Seatbelt. This time, you're going to want to take your seatbelt off. Take that high blade. Take it off. He's going to pin the door with his foot. This could be a 250-pound door. He's going to pin the door. He's going to pick up the target. Go ahead. Still come up the front. He's going to pick up and assume the target and start laying down fire on the target. Bang, 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 bang. This time, the guy on this side of the car is going to open the door and actually get out of the vehicle. He's not going to close the door. Come up, get a good firing position. And he starts laying down a base of fire. This time he can tell him, move, move. He comes back, moving. He'll shut his door. This keeps some rounds from coming into the armored vehicle now. And he'll come all the way across the vehicle. So those of you who maybe are a little bigger than other people, people who love to put gear on their uniforms, who loves a lot of kit, this task right here, you will find a little difficult. Check.
Yes,
He'll
sir.
come out of the vehicle, and just as you've seen Brandon do, he'll come around here, he'll assume a good firing position on the back side of the vehicle. Go ahead and do so. Again, being conscious that this vehicle will provide him cover because it is an armored vehicle. But a lot of times armored vehicles in the rear, these walls are not always made out of armor, right? It's just a cage around the inside. So a lot of times this is just regular metal or fiberglass or whatever else. The armor protection comes from inside. So be aware of that. Now, they're both putting down effective fire. So now we got a problem. We're going to run out of ammo if we stay here in the fight. At one point here, they need to start sounding off. This is the drill we did yesterday, right?
Yes,
sir. Okay, there we go. He needs to keep down below this plane. Because if you don't, you're going to catch a round in the grate. He'll move back and either find cover back here in the back, and then they'll bound backwards. This is very critical. Whenever somebody's moving, because this vehicle will draw fire. Whoever is covering the other guy has to lay down a base of fire. That doesn't mean pow, pow. It means a base of fire. Lay down a base of fire. Especially when he sounds off moving, you have to suppress the target.
Contact run!
Vehicle go down. Vehicle goes down. Blue, blue.
Covering!
The car, Rich. Get out of the car.
Seatbelt's a bitch, isn't it? Get the seatbelt off.
Covering! Moving! Move!
Shut the door. Volume of fire, Rich.
Covering! Move! Clear!
All right.
I want you to try to put as many shots on that steel plate as you can. Obviously, the closer we get, the more you're going to be able to shoot accurately. The further back we go, you slow down your pace for those accurate shots.
Okay.
Right?
Don't start fast, end up slow.
Right. Exactly. The further away you are, the harder it is to hit it, right? So I want to see good solid hits as much as possible. All right. Shooter ready?
Yes, sir.
Stand by.
You good at cooking?
Contact front. Taking fire. Taking fire.
Good. Stop. Cease fire. The weapon on safe. Pull it inside the vehicle. Let's try this again. Contact front. Taking
Contact
fire.
front! Contact front!
Cease fire.
Contact front!
Vehicles are going to be set up a little bit different for each team, and your SOPs are going to dictate where you're going to be inside the vehicle. If it's an armored vehicle, if you look in the back of an armored Suburban, the doors will probably swing open. Armor plating on the sides, window slots, and then armor plating on the back. Guess who's the only guy in an unarmored spot? The well gunner. Most times it's because you can't shoot through armor plating and you don't have gun ports in the back. So what they do is you shoot right through it, or you kick the door open and engage right away. Most guys will shoot right through the window. Your job is to buy everybody else time. That's your primary role. When you're in here, keep in mind the amount of gear. Depending on your team SOP, I'm 6'4", 6'5", and if I'm locked into the back here with my weapon, probably looking at ammo, med supplies, extra bullets, food, water, everything's packed back here with you. So you're literally in a little cocoon. You don't have a lot of room to maneuver. It's going to be uncomfortable, it's going to be hot, but you're going to need to try to work through it as best you can. In a vehicle like this, I mean, we don't have a whole lot of room here. You definitely don't have seat belts. If you're concerned about falling out of the back of the vehicle, if you're in a forward motion and you're running like hell, what you may want to consider doing is grabbing the rear seat belts and just catching them inside, hooking them onside your arms, setting yourself up and then engaging. The drawback to this, though, is if you have to evac, or if the vehicle comes to a hard stop and you have to get out and deploy with your automatic, this is going to be a bugger to get out of, especially if you got everything else around you. Stand by. Contact rear, contact rear. Contact front, taking fire, breaking contact. Ceasefire.
So you're very fortunate. We haven't been able to do this in the past. You're actually going to be able to shoot from inside a vehicle with the recognition that this would be a thin-skinned vehicle. Let's say you get an ambush to a front, and your vehicle goes down, you're unable to get out of the vehicle. So what we're going to show you is be able to shoot from behind the vehicle, shoot through windshield, and engage the target. All right. What I like to see is 2 rounds to each target by each person on the front right and the front left. Roger that?
Yes, sir. Roger.
Okay, this is an easy drill. And what would you think with the curvature of the windshield? Where would you be your point of aim on the target?
Probably low.
I got high and I got low. What do you think?
High.
High? You think low?
Low.
Low.
All right, because we're going to find out. Stand by. Action front.
Gun front!
Next two. Next two. Go. Doesn't matter who. Action front.
Action front!
Scan. And holster. All right, go ahead and step out of the car.
Chicken.
Action front. Front. Action front!
Action front! Action front!
Scan and holster.
He was here for the affiliate program for...
So now, does this answer our question? What happens when we shoot through a windshield? They rise, they go up. So your point of aim has to be lower. You see where Andy was aiming at. Where's your point of aim? Right here?
Yeah.
Point of aim was center mass where you should, right? But since you're shooting the windshield, you should aim down here. Today's evolution is an immersion stress test. What we're hoping to achieve with the student today is to show them what it's like to be under stress in a high threat environment. So if they're using this to go overseas or anywhere else in a third world country, they kind of have the basis to maneuver from. Today the counter assault team will move up to extract a principal from a downed car, while another team provides the base of fire.
Are we looking? Looking good out front. Say again? Rear. Rear. Right.
Right front! Right front!
Go, sir. Keep your head down. Let's go. Let's go. Go.
Moving!
Weapons unsafe. In the vehicle.
Exfil!
Give me some cover.
Get in the car. Front seat. Front seat.
Get me out of here! We're coming to you!
Right there.
We're coming to you, Stuart!
myself. Hold on. Get this special move out. I ain't doing no ammo, right? I'm going. Oh yeah! Get down! Come on! Let's go! Move him! Get me up! Help me up! You ready to move? Ready to move! Ready to move! Where are you backing? Just give me my arm around you. Ready to move! Get up front! Get him behind the barrier! Get him behind the barrier! He's bleeding! Fucking leg! Get to me! Get behind cover! Cover! Get behind cover! Drag! Give me fucking arm! Get that! Work on it! We got you, son! We got you, just relax! Relax! Get it turned down there! Down! I got legs! Let's move! You got ammo! You have... Yeah, good! Alright, now you gotta carry me. Get me out of here. Let's get me out of here. Get him up! Let's go! No, not that arm. You gotta carry me. I'm ready! Go! Ready! Go! Move! Come on! Get that side! Roll time! Watch the stick! Get in there, Jeremy! Get in there! Get in! Hold the next stop up! Come in! Okay. Ready, set. Okay, I'm in. Okay. Shut the door! Get in the car! Now, in!
This was the last drill, the final exercise for this class. The scenario for this was a recovery of a teammate that was left behind or was couldn't evacuate in time. The counter assault team came in and did a retrieval of myself, and I was actually stuck behind the corner of a vehicle taking fire when the CAT team rolled up. They deployed from the vehicle, laid out on their sectors of fire, and started advancing to contact, shooting as they went until they got to me in the vehicle. They had emergency medical procedures where they tried to bandage up my arm as best they could. The vehicle went up in flames beside them, so it gave them something else to think about. We had suicide bombers for the targets in the crowd, and they blew up as well before they could get to the team. And as they picked me up and started running out with me, I was hit by enemy fire right in the leg, and small explosion there tore open my leg, and I went down. Laying on the ground there, they were forced to bunker down around me, keep continuing firing, and then drag me off of the fire zone behind cover, deal with the immediate injury, and then load me into the back of the closest vehicle and get out to safety. How they performed overall was pretty good, actually. Everybody did what they were supposed to. We did the leg. They knew that there was going to be some injuries. They knew they were going to have to fight to contact to get to me. The problem that they weren't expecting was when my leg got shot out from under me and I went down in the ground while they're very, very set in what they needed to do. That kind of experience is something that we can't give them ahead of time. It's something they have to experience at the moment so that they have every opportunity to react to it under pressure. And that's exactly what this whole scenario was for, was to react under pressure, under live fire, and bring all the elements together as best as we could. Overall, it went pretty darn good today.